Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the week August the 1st to August the 5th, 2016. So I've already prepared the cards and I'll start shuffling to see what's going to come up for us this week. Remembering that these are not absolute predictions, they're general guidelines for what sort of energies you can expect and what sort of messages the angels might have that will help you get through all the things that you've got to get through and all the emotional challenges that we are all facing. So I shuffle them, the angels tell me when to stop, or a card jumps out like that one. You are healed. The healing that you've prayed for is on its way. So this could be for some of you a physical ailment that you've been struggling with, but they're saying that for most of you it's emotional. So some perhaps disharmony. I was going to say conflict, but that doesn't feel right. It feels like more of a disharmony or a tension, and not necessarily with other people, but more with yourself and with where you want to be and where you are right now. So it's suggesting that there's going to be more of a sense of peace around that, which we all need. And part of the angel's job is to help us find peace in our lives. So that it's also just a general confirmation that they have heard you and that they are helping you. Don't forget, you do need to ask the angels for help. They can't intervene and help you in your life unless you ask them to, because that would be violating your free will. You're the one in charge of your life. The angels, the universe, they're not in charge. You are. You call the shots. But you need to remember that you've got an angel squad that you can call on, but they have to have an invitation from you to do so. So that's a really positive note to start the week on. Looking at Tuesday now, the 2nd of August. Okay, they've just told me I have to change my cards around. I was going to start with a different deck for Tuesday, but they've said they want this one, so you know, I just do what they tell me to do. Must be so boring for you guys watching me shuffle these cards. I often have clients record their personal readings, and they, book one-on-one sessions. I always say, if they want to record, that's an option for them. I always say, don't start yet. It's the shuffling. It's really boring, but it's important, and I can't rush it. It takes as long as it takes because I have to get the right card. Here we go. 10 of Raphael. So Raphael is the archangel in charge of healing, so that ties in nicely with the message that we just had. Now the message here is about relationships with family members particularly, and it talks about, again, a sense of healing and a sense of reaching a greater level of harmony with other people in your life. So whereas before we had a message about healing in regards to our own personal kind of challenges within our own heads and what we were kind of what we're trying to reconcile ourselves to and with, and this is more about other people. So there's already a theme of peace coming through, which I think is pretty welcome given events in the world right now. So this is about relationships with other people. Now, if you have a really long history of friction with someone, that's not just going to go away on its own, but it will get easier, and partly that falls on you to try and make a resolution to feel a sense of peace about it and to let go of some of that friction. It doesn't mean putting up with bad behaviour, it just means trying to find peace and opening up your heart a bit more to that, because we can't live our lives in bitterness. Now, Wednesday, going back to the cards I started Tuesday with, and they said, no. So this is obviously the right order. Okay. Angel therapy, and again it's Archangel Raphael. Give your cares and worries to us and allow us to take your burdens. So they're really stepping up to help us. I mean, they do that all the time, obviously, but they're really making sure that we know that they are there to help us. And again, they're telling me to remind you once again that they can't help you unless you ask them to. So here it's a real action-focused message about you giving your cares to them. Now, I've spoken about this before, but I'll remind you, and for people who haven't heard me talk about the God box, it's when you imagine an angel in front of you holding a box and you put your worries into it one by one. It's really good for when you're trying to go to sleep and you're just weighed down by worries. And then you imagine the angel taking it up to heaven to take it off your hands. So it's like it's helpful, because not necessarily for the angels, they don't need you to do that exercise, but it's helpful for you to actually feel the lightness, to actually feel yourself offloading. So I mean, the angels can take your worries away from you just like that. They don't. It was a really crap finger snapping. They don't need you to do an exercise for it, but I think it helps people to, for the symbolism of that, it can give you a sense of relief. So I really suggest you try that. Is there anything else you need to know here? Not really. It's really just about trusting that I've got your back and that I'm here to help you. Now, Thursday. Sometimes our problems just seem so overwhelming and it seems like there's no way through, but there is always a way through. And, you know, we can only ever see this much, and we can only ever see the limitations, but the angels can see this much, and they're telling us that it's going to be okay. So we need to work with them to try and achieve that sense of peace. And just trust. It's the main message. I know it's easier said than done, but it's really important. Okay, what have we got here? Oh, you're profoundly clairvoyant. So this is about using our intuition. So in regards to following on from the theme that we've had about healing, this is reminding us that the solutions to the problems that we have will come to us through our intuition. That's sort of, it's what people call a gut instinct. It's where you get the messages about how things are going to play out, and to prompt you to take action steps, because the solution to any problem is going to be 50% you and 50% the universe. So, of course, we ask the universe for what we want, and we ask for their help, but the angels help. But it's always about us taking action. You don't just put in an order and sit back and wait for it to happen. They'll be prompting us what we need to do, and sometimes maybe it is just trusting them. It really depends on, you know, everybody's going to hear this in a different way. There's so many different circumstances that you're facing, but we're all dealing with essentially the same problem, which is that we are struggling to trust, and we're struggling to let the universe help us, and we feel the weight on our shoulders, and we feel so burdened down, it just keeps us stuck. So I'm off topic slightly, but the message here is that you need to trust the messages that you receive, particularly if you get some bright idea that seems a little bit silly but just could work. Really trust in that. So everybody has intuition. It's not just me. You know, I've been harnessing my ability through these readings, but you know, and that because I know that's part of my life purpose. But you know, we've all got the ability to talk to the angels, and we're all intuitive. But we're all waging this war with our mind, wanting to take over and run the show, because the ego likes to be in control, and so it's always going to want to argue with your intuition, say that's stupid, you made that up, don't believe that. That's rubbish. It's your imagination. All sorts of things the mind will tell you but most of the strongest messages that the mind will tell you to stop you from following your intuition will be things like, no one else does that, because it also, mind wants us to be like everybody else, so it can feel like it's in control. But we're all, I mentioned before that we're all the same. We are the same in terms of that we're beings of light, and that we're all struggling with similar challenges, but we all have different ways of needing to approach situations. So the worst thing you can ever do in your life is try to be like everybody else, because you're not like everybody else, and nor should you try to be. It will only lead to unhappiness. So your intuition is the medium for where you're going to receive those messages about what you as an individual need to do for your own growth and your own soul learning. So that's what you need to listen to. Friday, there's so much more I could say about this. If I keep it brief. Friday. Okay, I've got two cards that jumped out, and I'm not really sure which. I think I'm going to go with both. Sometimes they do this to me. They want two, which is annoying because it makes for a very long Instagram post. But anyway, so this particular deck is centered around angels, and we've got Isabella and Ariel. I'll start with Isabella, and it's giving you, okay, they're saying this is only some of you. Some of you need this one. It's a green light, basically, for what you've been thinking about doing, the project that you've been thinking about. And you already know in your heart of hearts it's right, but you're holding back because you're just not sure. Like, oh, I might just wait, see what a few other people think. This is the affirmation, not the affirmation, sorry, this is the confirmation that you've been waiting for. Sometimes we just need someone to kind of reassure us and back us up. This is it. Go for it. Now, most of you need this one here, and it's about harnessing your spiritual gifts. So it's very similar to the message we had for the Thursday about your intuition. So for those of you who are already working with your intuition and you're wondering if you need to take the next step, this will be really good for you to do more spiritual courses, to read more books, watch more videos along that lines, if that's something you feel called to do. But for those of you who don't and are just happy with the messages you're getting from me and from other readers and whatever else you're doing, your meditations, that's absolutely fine, but they are asking you to continue to do that and to make sure that you're trusting the messages you receive. There's this thing called, I'm going to write a blog post about this soon, about it's called psychic addiction. It's not a real condition, but it's when people bounce around from reader to reader, card readers, tarot readers, clairvoyants, whatever, because they just don't want to make any decisions on their own. They're too scared and they want someone to tell them what to do. And when they don't get a message they like, they jump to the next person and the next person until someone will tell them what they want to hear. And it just doesn't work like that. If you want someone to tell you what you want to hear, maybe call your mum. It's probably the only person who's going to do that, or depending on who your mum is. Some mums are not like that, of course. Anyway, what I'm saying is your intuition is going to tell you things that you might not necessarily want to hear, but the best thing that you can do is to learn to trust it, even though it might feel scary. Now, your intuition always speaks with love. It's not going to beat you up. It's not going to tell you you're stupid. It's not going to tell you you're doing everything wrong and you're a complete failure and you should never try anything again. That's your inner mean girl. Your intuition speaks to you with love. It encourages you. It pushes you along in a gentle way. It will tell you sometimes things that are challenging, as I said. Things like, this job isn't working anymore. This friendship needs to be severed. All those sorts of things. You don't really want to hear those sometimes because they're hard things to do. It means stepping out of the familiar and into something else, even though you know, because your intuition's always telling you things you already know. You already know that that's what you need to do. It's kind of hard to do. So I've gone way off topic again. I'm really sorry. There's just so much to say on this stuff. Sometimes I get really straightforward messages like drink more water, exercise more, and sometimes you get this big esoteric stuff like listening to your intuition and understanding what your intuition sounds like and how to use those messages in your daily life. And this unfortunately is one of those occasions, so hopefully you're not bored yet. So basically it's really just about listening to your intuition, trusting it, and working with it to get a better result. And if you're already doing that and you feel like you're getting called to go deeper into that sort of field, maybe you want to become a card reader yourself. Maybe you want to become a yoga instructor. Sorry, I don't know what's happening to me today. I'm just going way off topic. It's just honestly the stream of messages that are coming into my brain. I'm trying to filter them. I'm trying to watch the time, the camera, keep the cards in the right place. There's a lot going on up here right now. So that's really all that you need to know. And also, they're saying sometimes it can be difficult when you start opening up to spiritual messages. You feel like you're losing your grasp on the life that you used to have. That can be quite a difficult thing to deal with. What you need to remember is that you fundamentally are not changing as a person. You're just remembering who you actually are. And through channeling your spiritual gifts, you're finding a peace that was missing before, a sense of peace, a sense of rightness. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody who's not on a spiritual kind of mission is wrong. It just means that they're different, and that's okay. You don't need to follow what other people are doing, and you don't need them to follow what you're doing. You just need to do what is right for you. And this is really just about trusting in that process. So because I've gone so far off topic, I'm going to wrap this up now. But we have a very strong week in terms of patterns. So always at the end I will summarize, what are the themes. So the first three are all about healing, emotional, physical, not really. They're saying maybe for some of you, but the vast majority, it's about tensions that you have within yourself and feeling and a need to feel at peace, and that's going to come through for you. But you need to make sure that you are open to that, and not still, because sometimes we like to stay in a place of drama because it's familiar, and because it feels like other people are doing the same. So this message about not doing what other people are doing is coming through as well. It's really important for you to remember that everybody's different and that's okay, but you need to go your own way, but still hold other people in a place of kindness. You don't try and change their thinking. You see them as they are, and if you're really completely different from them, then maybe you do move away from them, but you must always be kind to other people. Our differences are what makes us really beautiful, and ultimately, when you really delve down, we all want the same thing. We all want to be seen and heard as exactly as we are and to be accepted. Now, Thursday and Friday, these are all about trusting your intuition, to put it really simply, listening to the messages that you get and following those, even when they don't seem to make sense. That can take time. And there was also a message here for some of you, go ahead with what you're thinking about. You know if I'm talking to you. So that's it for this week. I will post these on social media every day. My Instagram account is @OneGroundedAngel. My Facebook page is One Grounded Angel. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to get these videos straight into your inbox when they are ready. And you can contact me if you have any questions as well. Now, I really apologise for going a little bit off topic today and for blabbering a bit. It's very difficult, as I said, for me to stay focused because I am getting so much information and focused on so many things at the same time. But the other thing is that sometimes there are things that I am saying that are going to resonate with maybe just one person who's watching this. So I need to trust that what's coming out of my mouth is what's right for somebody, even though it sounds a bit blah, blah, blah sometimes and it doesn't make sense to me. I have no idea how you guys are going to receive these messages, and I'm not attached to that. It's not my job to kind of tell people what they need to what they want to hear. It's my job to tell them what they need to hear, and I don't know what that is necessarily. I just need to put it out there. The rest is up to you. Hopefully that makes sense. You know where to find me if you have any questions, and I hope you have a really amazing week, and I look forward to reading for you again next Sunday. Take care, everybody.